All right, guys. So here's what we're doing today. Woke up on this beautiful Saturday morning. It's going to be probably 100 degrees today, so I want to get a couple things done before it gets hot. I'll get to that in a second. But the battery on the XLRV, it died. This is the second battery I replaced in a year. O'Reilly's replaced the other one for free, but I think there's something wrong with this car where it just drains the battery. I've done some reading on the forums, and it looks like just because all the features and all the electronics that are going on it. The key fob, it was one of the first years of the key fob where if it's around the car, it kind of signals to the car, it drains the battery. Let me know in the comments if I'm right on that. But I'm going to go get another battery for this thing, get this thing up and running. But then this thing is going to get a little suspension work. One of the comments, or one of the subscribers in the last video I did on this thing talked about how he could tell it's tilted. And I have asked several people, is this car tilted? And they're like, no. And I'm like, yes, you can kind of see it. It just doesn't look as level as it should. Maybe it's in person or somebody else noticed it. So what I have for this thing is coming up having to do with the automatic hydraulic control system that I'm going to replace on it. But let's go to O'Reilly's. Okay, we're back from O'Reilly's. Battery for this thing is on order. It'll be here by noon. And then now it's this thing. And so here's the situation. This thing has the AHC system, which has the hydraulic suspension. The LX, that is special on the LX, the Toyota Land Cruiser, which is like the sister of this thing. It doesn't have that. So you have to maintain this. And so what I found online and through some forums is sometimes people overlook that and they just say, oh, you just need to replace it with an upgraded suspension like the Land Cruiser. No. What a lot of people say is, no, you just have to maintain it. And so the situation is underneath the car, on the driver's side and passenger side, it's the same thing. But you have these reservoirs or accumulators, these bulbs. You have two on each side. So this is the front and this is the rear. So you have to take off this metal bracket here. It's like off-roading bracket to protect everything. Take it off. And then we'll have to bleed the hydraulic system and then take these off and replace them with new. And then refill the hydraulic system, flush it, refill it, and it should be good to go because these things give out over time. And I think that's kind of what happens, or it has happened with this vehicle, because when we're driving down the road, there's no other cool car than, well, I mean, there are, but this is a cool car to cruise in. I mean, it is the utility knife of cars, the Lexus LX. But what I find is my kids get a little nauseous in it because it weighs. It doesn't just go over a bump and absorb it and move on. It just kind of, there's a bounce to it. So I'm hoping this fixes it. But then also looking at the car, I think there's a tilt. I've shown people, they say no, but look at this. You tell me. I just don't feel like it's level. I feel like it's higher on the right side. I've measured it and it doesn't come out, but I just feel it. So maybe somebody else can comment and let me know. But when you see this in person, some people are like, no, I don't see it, but I do. So I'm hoping this kind of balances it out and just refreshes the system. And the parts that I had to get, man, this is not a easy peasy job. You can't just go to O'Reilly's and get these parts. So I had to get special from Japan hydraulic fluid. There's the part number. Toyota suspension fluid for the AHC system. And it's all in Japanese. And then I got the 4 new bulbs. I bought both of these on Amazon, but they had to ship from Japan. Well, made in China, but they had to come from a foreign country. And now I'm going to try to install them and see if it makes any difference. So here we go. So I've got the bracket off, and now what we have to do is we have our two reservoirs back there, but then we have to bleed the hydraulic fluid, and here's the bleeder. And I think there's supposed to be about maybe half a liter that's going to come out of here. Hopefully not more. If not, I'll grab another one. But it's going to bleed. And then one thing you have to be wary of, if you are going to do this on your car, don't be under it. It's going to lower. And I'm pretty sure it's going to lower. Everything I've seen says it's going to lower. And you just want to be safe. You don't want to be underneath it, wrenching on it, and then it drops because you will be crushed. So that's how I have it rigged up. I'm going to bleed it. Hopefully pull some hydraulic fluid out. Car will lower, and then I can, I believe I can change out the accumulators and then put more hydraulic fluid into the reservoir. All right, so we got the front left down, and I realized I made a mistake. So the reservoir from the video I was watching was supposed to have the reservoir on the passenger side, but it was an Australian video that I was reading or watching. So it's on the other side. It's on the passenger side. So I got confused because the driver's side, passenger side. So what I'm going to do is I got another bottle and then this hydraulic fluid out of the front. I'm going to continue with this side, and then I'm hoping there's enough hydraulic fluid in the system to then raise it back up to normal. And then I can put some more in the reservoir and then do the same thing to the right side. But as it sits, the car has pushed out quite a bit. It was another water bottle full with that much. So a little more than half a liter. But it is definitely nosediving here. But we're getting the fluid out, and I'm going to put the accumulators in right now. Well, I think I broke the Lexus. No, I'm just kidding. I finished this side. I changed the accumulators, and now I'm going to go off to the other side. But what I was reading online, there's so many different things. So I'm taking my best guess, and we'll see what happens. The reservoir is actually, it's not in the front. I thought it was, but no, it's here behind the passenger side. I open up this, and then I'll get access to the reservoir so that I can put in some new fluid as I'm draining. The fluid out through the bleeder valves and flushing out the old and then putting in the new, so that when the thing is dropped, it should have new fluid on it and it can pull from the reservoir and just put the new stuff in. So I brought my wife out and I was like, sweetie, I think it's doable. I think I built you a NASCAR. You know, you're gonna ride everything like Talladega. She was not impressed yet. So let's see if I can impress her. Okay, so I opened up the hatch in the rear here to see the reservoir for the AHC system, and it is that white thing right back there. And here's my filler tube. Now it's super hard to see how much is in there, but it does have a min and a max, so I'm gonna kind of play with it and see what I can get, and just get it right above the max line. But here's my filler tube. I'm gonna put some in it to replace what I pulled out from the driver's side, and then I'll do the same thing here to the right side, and then I'll fill it up again. So hopefully that pushes out all of the old fluid. One thing I'll say while I'm back here looking at this thing, I took off this hatch, and I mean, I think in my previous video kind of detailing what this car was, this is an example of how cool this car is and how overbuilt it is. This isn't just some like chimsy piece of plastic. No, like there's like some solidness to it. It just, when it comes off, it was like opening a box. Like it just, everything fits perfect. And that's just another example of why the LX is just such a unique car. It's not just thrown on there to cover. It's I don't know, it's purpose built. It's really cool. So I just pulled out of the plastic this Toyota suspension fluid for the AHC system, and I love this. I mean, this can came straight from Japan, and you can tell it was manufactured here by Idemitsu Kosan Company in Tokyo, Japan. I ordered this on Amazon. It didn't take too long to get here, but this is the real deal. There's the parts number that I'm going to put into this system. I guess you could try others, but I have access to this, so why not use it? I did call the Lexus dealer that was closest to us, and I asked, hey, can I buy the parts from you? Because I'm thinking I can do this project. And they were like, no, we don't even sell that to the people. We have our own. So I don't even know if they use this. So we'll see, but authentic, straight from Japan. All right. All right. I should have filmed it, but this was the most satisfying thing ever, is opening this Japanese bottle. I feel like I'm in 1940s, but you can see the color of the fresh liquid, and the stuff I pulled out was pretty black. I don't know if that's normal, but people online are saying that you need to flush it till you see the clear liquid. All right, job's done. I did both sides, and I took it for a lap. And I don't know if you can tell if it's sitting a little more straight. It feels like it. It has changed the ride quality significantly. I noticed it. I'm gonna see if my wife notices and what she says. But there's the rear to see if it looks more straight. Maybe, kind of. You tell me. One thing that it did while driving it, it's a much more stronger lift and lowering process. It doesn't wave through the road, and we live in California, and the roads here, we paid probably the most in registration, like damn near $400 in registration every year, but our roads are the worst. Let me know what you pay for registration on a car and what your roads are like, but ours are trash here in California. They take the money and probably spend it on some goofy program. But it used to wave through the bumps, but now it goes to the bump and it just recovers quicker. So it makes for a nicer ride quality. You actually feel like you're in a Lexus now. So yeah, I did it. It took me, a couple hours this morning to kind of piece through it, see what the heck I'm doing. I've never done it. I will definitely change the way I do it now. Created quite the mess in here of hydraulic fluid. I'm going to get the right stuff, but I saved up boxes in preparation because I knew I was going to make a mess in the garage floor. So I'll clean this up and make it look pretty. But yeah, it did it. So, or I was able to do it. So if you have any questions, comment below. If you have any tips, like you've done this and you know what the heck you're doing, tell me. Let me know if I missed anything. I refilled the reservoir. So we're good on fluid and there's no leaks or anything. I bled it just to make sure there's no air or anything. It seems pretty good. One thing I did learn when I did it, so take my, I'm not a mechanic, but take my tip for it, is that when I did it, I raised the car all the way to the high. And then when I bled it, it, lowered slowly by bleeding it. And I feel like I was able to get more pushed out of the bleeder valve. But the way I did it with these bars is there's one bolt in here. It's super annoying to take out. And it was the rear. So what I did is I just did the front and it dropped it, and I was able to get the bulbs out as it lowers. But if you drop it here in the front and you do the rear first, so I mean dropping this roll bar here, or protectant bar here, then you can get it out with having to take that super hard bolt in the rear out. So I didn't even take these completely off. I just took the front and the middle and it dropped. So then I was able to play with the lowering and hiring of the car, and I was able to get them off without taking this off, because there's one bolt in there that's super annoying and hard to get at, and it would have frustrated me. So that's one tip I learned, but if you know more, which I'm sure you do, let me know. But there it is, the Lexus LX570 AHC system service. All right, so I want to show you the pencil test that I saw from some people online that they were doing for their accumulators, or what I've been calling them bulbs. But you take them and then you take a pencil and you just stick it in and you see how far it goes. And if it goes further than rest, you know that it's off. So there's this one, not bad. Let's try the others. So this is doing it with the orientation of the car. This is the passenger front, driver rear, passenger rear. So let's see where the driver sits. That's the same. That one's the same. That one's the same. And that one is the same. So pencil test, fail, I guess. I guess these things were okay. Maybe you can tell me in the comments, does the pencil test decide it all? But they're all about the same on their push-in depth, and it's that far, which doesn't strike me as terrible, or maybe they're all four bad. Let me know. But I can definitely tell with the new ones and the new fluid, there is some quality ride, or a much better quality ride. But with that, if you watch this video and you get to this point and you're a Lexus fan and you comment a name that I should call this beast of a vehicle, I've been calling it the Lexus. But if you can tell me a name, and if I like it and my wife likes it, I'm gonna ship you these accumulators brand new. They're like 400 bucks. You can have them, keep them as a keepsake, but as just kind of a memento of the channel. Thanks for watching, but there you go. I wonder what it cost what it would have cost at the dealership, but it cost me probably about 500 bucks to get the bulbs on Amazon and then to get the fluid from Japan. So I don't know if I saved anything, but you let me know. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Let us know how we're doing, but I hope you have a wonderful day.